Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, everyone. Today, we're taking a fascinating look at one of the absolute most important innovations happening right now in modern artificial intelligence. We're going to completely demystify exactly how AI systems are learning to access and use private organizational knowledge in real time. So if you've ever wondered how the most advanced enterprise AI tools suddenly seem to know the intricate, behind-the-scenes details of your company's private documents, well, you are in the right place. We are going to unpack the architecture that makes the whole shebang possible. So, what actually happens when an AI just doesn't know the answer? You see, traditional large language models, or LLMs, for all their impressive, mind-blowing ability to generate human-like text and summarize documents, they have a really fundamental limitation. Think of a standalone LLM like a truly brilliant student who has been forced to take a strict, closed-book exam. No matter how smart they are, their knowledge is completely frozen in time, limited strictly to the information they were fed during their pre-training phase. If a fact wasn't in that training data, they simply don't know it. And that brings us to a pretty stark contrast: pre-trained knowledge versus real-world reality. In an enterprise environment, relying on a closed-book AI creates massive challenges. Why? Because organizations run on current, domain-specific, proprietary data. Standalone models lack that real-time awareness. They don't have access to your internal documentation, your ever-changing knowledge bases, specific customer records, or, the latest regulatory guidelines. When accuracy is critical, you just can't rely on a model that might be guessing or relying on outdated information simply because it's cut off from your private, real-world reality. But thankfully, there is a solution. Let's meet the hero of this explainer, RAG. RAG stands for Retrieval-Augmented Generation. Remember that closed book exam we talked about? Well, RAG is the system that finally hands the AI an open book, and not just any book, your organization's book. It's an AI architecture that combines two incredible things: the reasoning and language capabilities of an LLM and advanced information retrieval mechanisms. But the absolutely crucial keyword here is before. Instead of just guessing an answer based on old training data, a RAG system dynamically retrieves relevant external knowledge before it generates its response. It goes out, finds it finds the most relevant information from your private data and uses that fresh knowledge to answer the user. And this brilliantly illustrates a quote from our source material today. RAG represents the convergence of retrieval precision with generative flexibility. It's a perfect symbiotic relationship. You have a retriever component that acts like a highly tuned precision search engine, locating the exact facts you need. Then you have a generator component, the language model, that acts with incredible flexibility to interpret, synthesize, and present those facts in a fluent, conversationally engaging format. It's literally the ultimate team-up between factual grounding and natural communication. If we briefly trace the evolution of AI, we can see exactly why this hybrid architecture had to happen. In the early days, we had question-answering systems that were heavily focused on retrieval only. They could find a document for sure, but they lacked sophisticated language generation to actually explain it well to you. Then we swung completely to the other extreme with standalone LLMs. Pure generation, incredibly fluent, but prone to making things up because they lacked updated factual grounding. Modern RAG sits perfectly at the end of this timeline. It is the hybrid that brings both sides together, which is exactly why it's become the cornerstone of modern enterprise solutions. So how does it pull off this hybrid magic? Let's take a quick look under the hood at how RAG actually works. Here is the workflow of a typical RAG architecture. It all begins when you, the user, submit a query. The system immediately processes and converts this query into a searchable format. The retriever then jumps into action, searching your specific knowledge repository, like your corporate databases, to identify the most relevant documents. Once found, these retrieved results aren't just handed back to you directly. They are supplied to the large language model as additional context. Finally, the model generates the final answer, seamlessly blending your original query with the freshly retrieved, highly accurate information. It's dynamic knowledge integration, happening right there in real time. Now, there is a bit of a catch here. A RAG system is only as good as its data sources. If you feed it a mess, well, it's going to retrieve a mess. That's why data preparation is absolutely critical. Before implementing these systems, organizations have to rigorously collect and organize their data, whether that's product manuals, industry reports, or customer support logs.
This stage requires heavy data pre-processing, cleaning up text, normalizing formats, enriching files with metadata types, and segmenting long documents into smaller, digestible chunks. This way, the retriever can easily pinpoint the exact paragraph it means without getting lost. Once that data is prepared, it has to be stored in a way the AI can actually search it quickly, which brings us to vector databases. Modern RAG systems use embedding models to convert textual information into numerical vector representations. So, what does this actually mean for you, and why does it matter? Well, these dense embeddings allow the AI to perform what's called a semantic search. Instead of just looking for an exact keyword match, like hitting Control F on your keyboard, the system searches based on the actual meaning and context of the words. It understands what you're asking for, even if you don't use the exact terminology found in the document. Pretty cool, right? But once your system is up and running, you have to measure its performance. Organizations evaluate RAG systems on a few key metrics: the accuracy of the retriever, the correctness of the final response, and the contextual coherence of the answer. So, the crucial point is this. Continuous evaluation of these specific metrics is exactly how teams achieve hallucination reduction. By constantly refining how well the retriever finds facts, you physically stop the AI from making things up. This iterative refinement is the secret sauce to building deep user trust in real-world production environments. All right, enough theory. Let's shift gears and talk about the real-world superpowers this architecture unlocks. When you look at the top enterprise applications, the value is just undeniable. Take intelligent summarization, for example. RAG drastically improves accuracy for legal reviews or research analysis because it retrieves the relevant facts before summarizing, ensuring no critical details are ever lost in the mix. Then there's conversational AI. Think of IT help desks and healthcare assistants. Because they access external knowledge in real time, these virtual assistants are actually context-aware. They aren't just reciting canned robotic scripts. And finally, personalized recommendations. By retrieving historical interactions and contextual factors, RAG engines generate incredibly custom user experiences across retail and entertainment. It grounds every single interaction in specific, reliable data. Now, what's really interesting about this is that the future of RAG is expanding way beyond just simple English text. Global organizations are actively deploying multilingual RAG, which combines language understanding with cross-language retrieval, literally breaking down global communication barriers. But even more exciting, cross-modal retrieval. Very soon, these AI systems won't just retrieve text. They will pull from images, audio files, video clips, and structured databases all at the exact same time to give you a comprehensively rich answer. This is the absolute frontier of AI development. Which leaves us with this final, vital question for you to ponder. Is your organization ready to unlock the true power of its knowledge? Retrieval-Augmented Generation isn't just some trendy new feature. It is rapidly becoming the foundational architecture for delivering trustworthy, context-aware AI. By blending the fluid intelligence of language models with the hard facts of your own data assets, RAG represents one of the most important advancements in modern tech. So it's time to look at your organization's knowledge base and ask yourself, are you ready to make it an open book? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring.